Okay, let's talk about something that's literally changing the game in endocrinology. It's a revolution, and it's all about muscle. For so long, we've thought of muscle as, well, something for looks, right? But what science is now proving, without a doubt, is that it's one of the most powerful tools we have for managing type 1 diabetes, working for you 24/7. And this right here is the big idea. Strength has become treatment. This isn't just some catchy slogan, it's the new reality. It's a fact that's backed by solid, undeniable evidence, and it's changing not just lives, but the official medical rulebook. We're talking about strength training moving from the nice-to-have column to being a core part of the treatment plan. So, how in the world did we get here? Well, that's what we're going to unpack. We're going to start by absolutely demolishing an old myth. Then we'll dive into the biology of how your muscles work their magic. We'll look at the scientific proof that turned everything on its head. And then we'll wrap up with a really practical plan you can start using today. All right, first things first. To really get how huge this shift is, we have to go back and look at the old way of thinking. This myth that honestly held a lot of people back for decades. For as long as I can remember, the advice for exercise with diabetes was just cardio. Go for a run, get on the bike, hit the treadmill. That was it. But we now know that was, at best, only half the picture. The new reality? Strength training isn't something to be afraid of for glucose control. It's actually one of your biggest allies, creating this deep, sustained stability that cardio by itself just can't touch. And look, this isn't just some theory. Check this out. This is real data from a patient sensor over 14 days. 74% of their time, that's more than 18 hours a day, spent right in that sweet spot, the target glucose range. You know what that means? It translates to a fantastic GMI of 6.8% with 0 severe lows. That's not an accident. That is physiology at work. That's applied science. So how does lifting a weight actually lead to numbers like that? Well, it all comes down to understanding that your muscles, quite literally, act like medicine inside your body. Think about it this way. Your skeletal muscle is the biggest storage tank for glucose you have. It holds somewhere around 400 to 500 grams of the stuff. It's like a giant sugar sponge. And when you do resistance training, you wake it up and you unlock its ability to just soak up glucose right out of your bloodstream. And here's the kicker, often without needing any extra insulin to get the job done. And this whole effect is just incredible because it works in 3 powerful phases. First, while you're actually working out, your muscles are just pulling in glucose like crazy. But then, for the next day or two, your body becomes way more sensitive to insulin, up to 50% more sensitive. And the long-term benefit? Well, every single kilogram of muscle you build is like adding a new tiny furnace to your body that's constantly burning glucose, even when you're just relaxed. Now, seeing this work for one person is amazing, but to change global medical advice, you need cold, hard data. And that's exactly what one landmark study gave us. Let's look at the proof that really changed the entire conversation. So, back in 2018, a study in the Canadian Journal of Diabetes decided to settle this debate once and for all. Researchers took a group of adults with type 1 diabetes and, for 12 weeks, split them up. You had one group that didn't change a thing, another that did your standard aerobic exercise, and a third group that focused purely on strength training. And the results? They weren't just good, they were absolutely revolutionary. Just look at this table. In every single important metric, more time in the safe range, way less time being high, and needing less total insulin, the strength training group didn't just squeak by, they dominated. The cardio group did okay, sure, but the strength group's results were on another level. But let's just focus on the single most important number here, time in range. Look at this chart. The control group is chillin' down at 55%. The aerobic group gets a little bump to 60%. And then, look at the strength training group. They soared past 70%, which is the gold standard for excellent control. I mean, the visual says it all. It's an undeniable win for strength training. Okay, but this is where it gets even cooler. This whole thing isn't just about what happens during that 1 hour you're at the gym. The real magic is this metabolic echo that ripples through your body for the next 24 hours. This quote just nails it. After you train, your body is fundamentally different. It's more efficient, the insulin you take works better, you handle meals with smaller glucose spikes, you even manage stress better on a physiological level. It's not a temporary boost, it's a profound shift that lasts all day long. So what does that actually feel like? It feels like those annoying post-dinner spikes just start to disappear. It feels like going to sleep and waking up with flat, stable lines on your CGM.
It means you're not constantly chasing highs with correction doses, because your body now has this natural built-in buffer that's always working for you. And because of this just absolute mountain of evidence, what used to be a fringe idea, something you'd only hear from athletes or biohackers, is now the official global standard of care. Yep. In 2022, the American Diabetes Association put it down in black and white. It's not a maybe or a consider. Their guideline says resistance training should be performed. That word should is a huge deal. This is now core advice from one of the biggest health authorities on the planet. And it's not just in the US. The very next year, the Brazilian Diabetes Society came out and said the same thing, even calling it essential. So we're seeing this clear international consensus form. This is no longer just an opinion. This is top-tier medical advice.
Okay, so we've hammered home the why. Now for the fun part, the how. How do you actually start using this incredibly powerful tool? And how do you do it safely and effectively?
Here is a super simple, evidence-based way to get started. You want to aim for 2 to 4 sessions a week. Seriously, even just 2 can make a massive difference. Focus on the big exercises that use lots of muscle, like squats, rows, and presses. The key thing here is intensity. You want those last few reps of a set to feel genuinely hard. And yeah, you can still do cardio. A nice walk after lifting is perfect. But the most important thing of all, just be consistent. You'll start to really feel the benefits in about a month, and from there, they just keep getting better. And that brings us full circle, right back to the beginning. If you take away just one thing from all this science, let it be this. Building strength gives you a whole new level of control over your metabolism. It stops being just exercise and becomes a fundamental part of your treatment. The science is clear, the official body lines have been updated, and the path to get started is right there. So the only question left is, who's ready to turn their own muscle into the best medicine they have? Thanks so much for tuning in.